Hello, I'm Dr. Shelton. I'll be interviewing you today.
Hi, I'm Aspen. Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you, Aspen.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so tell me about yourself.
I'm Aspen. I'm graduating in fall of 2016 from Western Washington University with a Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology with a specialization in pre-health care. During my time here, I've had an extensive internship experience at a physical therapy outpatient clinic. I got the opportunity to work as a scribe for 2 main physical therapists and 2 physical therapist aides. I was able to work on SOAP notes, which is like everyday notes. I'm sure you're familiar with them. Asking patients like their subjective and like assessing them and like reanalyzing the plan. And with my supervisor, I was able to work on evaluations, update letters, and discharge papers. I really feel that helped them, everyone at the clinic, because I was able to be their scribe and they were able to have more one-on-one time with the patients and like give them better care.
All right, why did you choose your major?
I chose kinesiology because Western didn't have a pre-healthcare or a pre-med plan, and growing up doing sports my whole life, the kinesiology part really interested me, and the pre-healthcare specialization also interested me, so I was able to do more like anatomy and physiology and chemistry and biology with the pre-healthcare area, and like sports psych and strength and conditioning classes in the kinesiology area, and overall I feel like that strengthened me better academically because I'm more well-rounded.
How do you receive feedback?
I take like feedback obviously into consideration all the time. My experience in my internship, feedback was really important because we had to do weekly check-ins with our advisor, and we also had to do like a midterm report. My supervisor had to answer a bunch of questions and basically just give you a whole bunch of feedback. And for my midterm report, he basically said that I needed to ask more questions and just like kind of show off more, I think. And I implemented that in my last half of my internship by just like studying more outside of work. I mainly worked like about 10-hour days, so I would go home and they gave me a book, and it's like Netter, and that's like a really big anatomy book, and I would study it and like just like have questions ready. And he also had me read physical therapy sports journals, and I would like just like bring it up in topics and ask him questions and like his thoughts about it and everything. And by the end of my internship, he was very pleased, and I got like excels at in every box during that long time.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, like I said before, I don't really have an end goal yet. I just really want to be in the medical field, like working with patients and like clients or something like that, one-on-one, not like at a computer desk all day. I enjoy like implementing my knowledge of anatomy and physiology with people and just everything I've learned at school. I like teaching others, like putting it in like simpler terms. Like let's say a client would ask me like, oh, why are we doing this exercise? I really enjoy like telling them like, well, it's for this particular muscle to strengthen because you're weak in this other area, and like how it could prevent injury and on and on.
Okay. What is important to you in a company or organization?
I think just like a group cohesiveness is really important. At my previous like internship, the group was like pretty small, but there was like no like bickering or fighting, which I thought was like really remarkable. And I think that being able to like be friendly and nice to everyone is like important, even if you have some disagreements. Obviously bring them up, but like bring them up in like a respectable way and treat people with just like kindness. like respect patients and everything like that.
Okay. What made you apply for this position?
Being a a physician assistant scribe, I think would give me more experience in learning, like, especially in the emergency room, learning how to work at a fast pace and learning like life or death situations, so you'd have to be accurate every time. I think that working in a a hospital environment would also give me the benefit of learning more each and every day. And I think that on the job ad it said, how would you like to get paid for being able to job shadow a physician's assistant every day? And I think that sounds amazing, because I was able to job shadow a general surgeon in my high school experience, and I had I enjoyed that time, and getting paid to do it as like a scribe I think would be really beneficial.
Okay. How will this position enable you to reach your goals?
I think just having more hours in the medical field looks better to anyone. I haven't unfortunately decided what my end goal is, but I know that I want to be in the medical field because I like applying my knowledge of anatomy and physiology to patients, and an interaction with them is what I want to do. I think that this job would let me learn more on the job, and I think that interacting with the doctors and nurses and patients and obviously the physician's assistant would be really beneficial, and I think that I could help them by being there and being their scribe.
Okay, and describe a stressful situation and how you handled it.
At one point in my internship, I was left alone, well, not completely alone, with 2 patients, because that would be illegal. There's one other physical therapist in the room, but 2 physical therapist assistants and a physical therapist had to rush down to the parking lot because one of our patients was having a stroke in his car, and his wife had come up to notify them. And so I had to finish their session and finish them with their progression and their exercises and everything, while keeping their notes current and correct. And then I had to also start new patients after that hour was up, while they're still dealing with the situation in the parking lot.
Okay. And what is your greatest weakness?
I think my greatest weakness is talking to really big groups, because I feel that I get really nervous, and I think that I get really nervous because I want to do well and inform them the correct way and give them all the correct information. I work on this by obviously doing group projects in class and doing a lot of practice interviews and just practicing in those types of ways.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. I would like to know, what do you like best about Peace Health?
Answer given. Do you have any more questions for me?
And I would also like to know what training I would receive if I was hired here.
Answer given. All right, thank you so much for your time. I will review your application and resume, and we'll get back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, I'm Aspen. I'll be interviewing you today.
Hi, Major.
All right, tell me about yourself.
I'm currently a student at Western Washington in Bellingham, working on my bachelor's in kinesiology movement studies. Over the summer, I recently worked at a boat shop detailing boats. And prior to that, in the spring last quarter, I worked at a PT clinic as an intern for school, but also I want to be a physical therapist in the future.
What is important to you about this organization?
I really enjoy the fact that it's sports rehab based. Growing up playing basketball and soccer, I've kind of been around sports injuries, torn ACLs, sprained ankles, and it's really taken an interest to it as far as how to rehabilitate that. And I also really enjoy the fact that it's a really team-based environment and everyone's kind of working together all at once to keep everything flowing nicely.
What job-related skills have you developed as your internship went on?
So I had a really good internship. I was able to do a lot of the tasks that they asked me to do. So as I was just an internship, but I did things such as set up clients on like the ice bath machines, and I was able to do like ultrasounds, and I was able even to help run them through their exercises under supervision. And I also cleaned up the beds, did a lot of the basic maintenance, helped them with laundry, got clients ready for their sessions, and then just helped the physical therapist in whatever they asked me to do. If it was something as little as grab a piece of paper for them or a pen, to helping them stretch a patient.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself as a physical therapist, settled down somewhere, working as a physical therapist and with a family. I'm very family oriented, so that's kind of a big deal. And I really want to live in California, so hopefully down in California, but I love Seattle too.
How would this position enable you to reach your goals?
Well, this would be a really good stepping stone to get me into physical therapy school. As you know, you need so many hours to even apply for it, and it'll get me immersed in the culture and kind of see how a real clinic is ran. And also the other side of it that I didn't do at my last internship was the clerical side, so like the billing and taking the patient's information and kind of the front desk part, and that's something I want to learn and know how to do. But more so, it just kind of get me ready for physical therapy school and really see how it's done, and working a full-time, full shift and 40, 50 hours a week and whatnot. I really see what it's like.
Which 3 adjectives would you use to describe yourself?
Well, the first one I'd use is punctual, because I'm always on time. Like growing up being involved in sports a lot, it was a big deal if you were late. Same with class and work, I was never late. My dad used to always tell me, if you're on time, you're late. So 5 o'clock to me means 4:30. And another one would be confident. I'm really confident in whatever I do because I know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm always going to ask questions to make sure I can do the job right. And the third would be patient. I'm really patient as far as working with people, and if they're struggling, I always help them through it, which I think would be a huge help in physical therapy. Because obviously right away the patients aren't going to make mass improvements. It's a slow progress as far as getting better. So patience is a really big thing.
Why did you choose your major?
I chose kinesiology because I first heard about it in high school and wasn't really sure exactly what it was. And then when I got to Western, I was first a chem major, but I didn't really like chemistry, or I didn't want to do all the chemistry, so I was challenged to finding something else, and I looked at kinesiology, and I really enjoyed what it embodied as far as fitness, a little bit of nutrition, and anatomy, and kind of how the body works. I think the human body is really interesting, and we know so much about it, yet we know so little about it, and I think that's really cool to try and learn about it as much as we know, and I enjoy going to my classes. So as far as kinesiology, I think it was a great pick for me.
What are some areas you would say that you need to improve on?
I am not very outspoken. Maybe ask more questions. If I don't know how to do something, I'm always going to ask a question. But as far as like just kind of asking questions, maybe why someone's doing this or what's going on here, I could probably get better at that. As far as asking questions to kind of get to know it better. But definitely, I'm always going to make sure I know what I'm doing. If I don't, I will always ask questions because I want to do it right.
How do you receive feedback?
I think I receive feedback really well. I'm going to reference my sports background again, you're always getting criticized, hopefully constructive criticism. You're always getting feedback and do something better, or do this or do that. And so I think I receive it really well. I take it and I always think about it and I make the adjustment. So I enjoy feedback. I kind of thrive on that because I'm always trying to improve myself as a person in all aspects. So I think feedback is critical.
How do you feel your sports background has prepared you for physical therapy?
I think it's prepared me in the sense that I kind of know, or I have a pretty good idea as far as injuries, like really basic injuries, like sprained ankles and pulled muscles or torn ACLs and whatnot. I mean, obviously my education has furthered my knowledge of that because, but so I kind of understand. I can understand mentally too what the athlete's going through, having been there. If you tear an ACL and you're out for 9 to 12 months, it's not fun physically, but I think the hardest part is the mental part, is not being able to play or having to sit out or go through the therapy, and it's such a long process. So I think that can help me kind of connect with patients as well, as kind of help them get through it and encourage them, kind of because I've been there, like I understand what's going on.
Good. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, what's it like working? Like, what's the work environment or a typical day like at the clinic?
Good answer. Do you have any more questions for me?
No.
Okay, thank you for coming in. I'll review your paperwork and everything and give you a call back.
Thank you for your time. That was like 8 minutes. Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So what made you apply for this position?
I applied for this position because I really enjoy working with people, and from past experience working in a PT clinic as a volunteer, I really enjoyed watching patients improve over time and get better, and I really want to work with people to help them do the things they need to do and to make their lives better. And so someday being a PT, you get to make a difference in people's lives every single day.
How do you cope with pressure?
I don't really cope with pressure. I embrace it. I feel like some people crumble under pressure, but it forces me to work faster and harder. It kind of fuels me to do my very best.
All right. How well do you work in a group environment?
I would say that I work very well in a group environment. I think I exceed working in groups. In our kinesiology major, we did a lot of group assignments and a lot of projects, so I have a lot of experience working with other people. I find that I tend to be not the group leader. I kind of sit back and but if I need to step in and take over, I have no problem doing that. I also find that I like to play devil's advocate, and that kind of keeps the groups on track.
So why did you leave your last job?
I left my last job because I became a student at Western University, and I worked in a different city, so I had to leave that job to come up here to school. Also, I didn't want to work during the school year because to me school is my full-time job, and I need to put all my energy and focus into that to do well.
How do you like Western?
I love Western. I love the kinesiology program. It's amazing.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully I will be in the Air Force as an officer, working as a physical therapist, aide, or assistant, and eventually maybe just going back to school to become a full-blown PT.
Why the Air Force?
The Air Force because they have an amazing medical field. I'm also a bit biased because my father was in the Air Force.
Nice. What are your goals as a PT intern?
My goals are initially to just gain experience and to learn what it's like to work in a clinical setting and what it would be like to be like a real physical therapist full time. Also to gain some more knowledge and also skills that I can apply in the future to future jobs.
So it says here you're a kinesiology major. Why did you choose that major?
I chose kinesiology because I am very passionate about health and wellness. I'm very involved in nutrition and fitness, and I'm also very fascinated by human biology and how the body functions and moves and injuries and healing, and kinesiology kind of embodies all of that, so it just seems like the right fit for me.
What are your greatest strengths?
I would say my greatest strengths are I'm very professional. In the work setting, I'm very polite and proper etiquette. I carry myself very professionally when dealing with clients or guests and also with coworkers. I would also say one of my strengths is I'm very thoughtful. I'm always trying to think of how I can make a patient or a guest experience better. Always trying to put myself in their position and how I would want to be treated if I was them. Also for my coworkers, I always try and do things for them, like get their station set up or clean it when I'm done with it, just so it's prepared for them. I think that really helps make the workplace happier and flow better.
What about any weaknesses?
Weaknesses, I would say I'm pretty quiet. I've also been told that I come off as shy. And this is really because I'm very observational. I like to observe and listen and learn and take things in and apply them. But I am working on it by just starting conversations with people and trying to break the ice by finding common ground, things to talk about.
How do you receive feedback or criticism?
I really greatly appreciate feedback and criticism. If I don't receive it from an employer, I always ask. I always like to know what I can work on, what I need to improve, like what I'm doing well that I can continue doing. I think it's very important for improving. Yeah.
Describe a difficult work situation and what you did to overcome it.
Most of my experience has in the past been working in restaurants, and a lot of times you have guests who are unhappy with either their food or a table or just the wait service. So they come up to you a lot and get in your face and complain, and sometimes it's your fault and you have to apologize, or you always just say I'm sorry. I'll get the manager and try and resolve it the best way that you can.
You said you enjoyed working with people. Why? What do you like most about working with people?
I like building connections with people and getting to know someone. And being a physical therapist, you see the same person over and over again, and you really get to grow with them and watch them improve and build a connection.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. What are the performance expectations for this position?
Answer given. Any other questions?
Yes. What training should I expect for this position?
Answer given. All right, well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll call you in the next couple days.
All right,
let you know
perfect.
if you got the position.
Thank you.